Time is short. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. A fascinating parsha, Parshas Vayetze. I recommend to everybody to actually to read it. Not only to read it, to listen to classes. The challenge today was to what part of this week's Torah Parsha to talk about. There's so many fascinating things. Yaakov is married to two sisters. The story with Lavan, running away, the dream of Jacob. There's so many things to talk, but I wanted to talk about something very practical and very important, as we mentioned many times. Torah comes from the word orah, which means lesson. And this is a lesson to our generation. Very clear, especially those who have kids or grandkids. The story in this week's Torah Parsha, Jacob ran away from his brother Esau to a place, terrible place. He's getting married to a daughter of a terrible person, Lavan, who tricked him many times, as we'll talk in a moment. But eventually, he built up not only his family, but also the Jewish people. We say it in the prayers, we are Bnei Israel, right? The children of Israel. Israel is the second name of Jacob, of Yaakov, as we're going to learn. Why not Bnei Abraham, the children of Abraham? Why not the Bnei Yitzchak, the children of Yitzchak? Because really the Jewish people started as a nation, as a Am Israel. Am Israel, the nation of Israel. Who is Israel? Jacob? By Yaakov. As we see that Abraham, even though he was a big tzaddik, he was the first man to believe in one God, etc. He was very, very holy. He had two children. One was good, Yitzchak. The other one was Ishmael. He didn't follow. He didn't follow the path of Judaism. His descendants are not Jewish. Yitzchak was a very holy man. Had two twins, as we discussed last week. Twins. One is Yaakov, and his children are Jewish. But the other son, Esau, his children are not Jewish. It says in the Talmud, Mitato Shlema, meaning Yaakov was fully the first one that all his children follow the path of Judaism. All of them continue to be Jewish. All of them continue to be Jewish, and the question is, what's the secret? What did Yaakov did different than Abraham and Yitzchak? Why Jacob had the merit that all his children follow the path of Torah, and they are the one who actually started the concept of Am Israel, the Jewish people. We are all descendants of his children. So I could give many. If you ask somebody, we'll take a few families who try to raise their children Jewish. You would say, maybe a smaller family, the parents has more time to dedicate to their children, more chances that the kids will follow the path of the parents. The kids will follow what the parents want from the kids. But that's not the case, right? Abraham had only two children, at least the beginning. Yitzchak, also just one set of twins. Yaakov had a large family, 12 boys. He had at least one more daughter that we know, Dinah, but maybe more. A very large family. So that cannot be the reason or the secret to how he was able to make sure that all his children follow the path of Judaism. In Australia, there was a guy by the name Avram Fagin. Famous family, Fagin, in Israel also, those who know. And about 120 years ago, he immigrated from Europe to Australia. Now, the Australian people were very, very welcoming to the Jews. There was almost no anti-Semitism. And with that come the price. Almost everybody who came in that time, their children didn't follow the path of Judaism. They all completely gone. I don't like to use the word assimilation so much, because some people see the positive context of it. That we assimilate, we thank God there's no anti-Semitism, we could be lawyers, we could be judges. But I'm just using the word. They all disappeared. They disappeared. They didn't follow the path of Judaism. No matter how much their parents tried. But this Avram, he had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 14 kids, even more than Jacob. And all his children, 100 years ago, followed the path of Judaism. Really, that's the beginning of Judaism as we know today in Australia. And everybody would say, wow, look at this Avram Fagin. He was able to build a Jewish home, even in a very not Jewish environment. And he used to say, I'm not taking all the credit. 90% of the credit I am giving to God. 10% of the credit I'm taking to myself because I prayed for it. I prayed for it. Yeah? But this is, so you could say, maybe Yaakov had a good luck. You cannot explain it. You see, Abraham had 2 children and wasn't able. Yitzchak had 2 children and was not able. Yaakov had 12, 13 or more children, and all of them followed the path of Torah, of Judaism. But if the Torah tells us a story, we cannot just leave it for a good luck. It must be a lesson of it, must be a reason. So the question is, I'm living here, thank God, in America, and coming up Thanksgiving, a day that we have to be thankful. We have to be thankful to America. A place that really we could flourish in our Judaism, we could flourish in our life. Thank God bless America. But we have the challenge. The challenge is of living, of disappearing from Judaism. So you're asking yourself, how could I be like Yaakov and not like Abraham and Yitzchak? What's the secret? What should I do? You would think, and somebody will, maybe the simple answer will be, invest more time with your children. Be more with your children. Not true. Yaakov, it seems like if you read it carefully, maybe did not see his children so much. He worked very, very, very hard. You would think kids who grew up in an easy life, maybe for them it will be easy to follow the path of Judaism versus kids who grew up in a challenging home, place with no money, etc. Maybe for them it will be hard. That's not the case. Abraham and Yitzchak were the richest people. Yaakov needed to work so hard for his living. It seemed like 24 hours he was busy with his job as Lavan's shepherd. So what is it? You would say, somehow they were holy people. Ishmael and Esau just had something in their gene. They were very wild kids. Yaakov happened to have only good kids. That's also not so true. If you look at the stories of the children of Jacob, at least the way that some commentary explain it, they weren't such good kids.
They threw their mother into the hole.
Exactly, they threw the mother into the pit. Shimon and Levi killed all city, Shechem, at the age of 13. Could you imagine what a good kids, age of 13, already killing all? Reuven, what he did with his mother or no, this all not necessarily. The Torah at least doesn't give us this impression that they were so good. You would say, maybe that's what I could think of. That's the plus of a big family all together, everybody together. So you feel already the warmth of Judaism. Could be, but not necessarily. Think about Joseph. Joseph left when he was 17 years old, right? Left his house, lived without his parents, without nobody, for many, many years, 22 years, in Egypt, far away. There was no communication, there was no WhatsApp, there was nothing, and he kept Judaism. Not only he, his children. In jail, and then it became maybe more challenging. He became the second to the king of Egypt. The most secular, he kept it quietly, but he kept all Judaism, and he was able to raise his children far away from, with no cousins, no nothing, in a place that he is the king, the easiest place to assimilate. It did not disappear. So the question is so strong. Really, you think about it and you think, and I was thinking, so there's no real explanation. How did he do it? And we're not asking it just as history, we're asking for ourselves. What could we do? What could we do to make sure that our children who lives in an environment that it's not a Jewish environment? Maybe over here in Yulet, thank God we have the Chabad house and we have all the activities and all the wonderful things. Maybe it's easier. But then, unfortunately, not necessarily they're going to live with this environment all the time. They're going to college. They're going to move. Many kids today moving to places there's no Jewish environment. How could we be like Yaakov? That no matter what kind of kids we have, some of our kids are good kids, some are wild. That's our Shem crew. That's fine. Not necessarily everybody needs to be like Yaakov. So what do we do? What's the secret that Yaakov had? So there's few ways that we could say what Yaakov did differently. Number one was we see Yaakov pray before he came, especially. You could see that Yaakov, when he always was very proud of them keeping Torah and mitzvahs. When he met his brother Esau, who wanted to kill him, the first thing he told him to this anti-Semite, to this brother who wants to kill him, what did he tell her? I'm keeping all the mitzvahs, 613 mitzvot. So you could say maybe this was the secret, that he was always proud of his Torah mitzvot, and many few other points that we could look throughout the story of Yaakov that he did different than his parents. But I don't like it so much. You know why? Because then we say that what Abraham and Yitzchak couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Must be something that happened when that was not yet ready. When Abraham, the first Jew, and when his son Yitzchak, the second Jew, when something was not ready yet, they were not able to do the magic that Yaakov did, that all his children were Jewish. And I think if you read it carefully, and if you think about the whole story, the secret was that Yaakov raised his children, and that they are part of a nation. Part of not just a regular nation, a powerful nation, the nation of Israel. They weren't just, we are just good kids, we try to do what Hashem said. No, we are part of something huge, something big, something powerful. That's how Yaakov raised his children. When Abraham and his son, his children, it was not yet. He was the first Jew. They have 2 kids. They're not something big, something powerful, a nation. By Yitzchak also, just his father. Who else? Only by Yaakov. And Yaakov already 3rd generation. And Yaakov already building a big family. Yaakov was the one who established the concept of Bnei Israel. We're not just people to ourselves. We are part of the Jewish nation. Only Yaakov was able to say it to his children. So no matter how many hours Yaakov saw his children, maybe not so much. Maybe he didn't see his children so much. But Yaakov knew how to give, was able to give his children the feeling of Am Israel. You are part of the nation of Israel, the nation of Jacob. This is something else. So Yosef, when he grew up as a kid, he didn't grow up just, I have to do ABC because I have to do it because that's my father said. He knew that he is part of the most wonderful nation in the world. Yaakov was the one who created Am Israel. That's why we say the Bnei Israel, the children of Israel. Not just individuals. And no matter where they were, Yosef was away, and the other tribes struggled with. Everybody had to struggle, but that makes no difference. And this is the lessons to us. When we tell our kids, we're not just this family, the Cohen family. Not only we do this specific mitzvah, we are part of the most wonderful nation of Hashem, called the nation of Israel. We are Jewish not only because we follow the Jewish path. Of course we follow the Jewish path. Of course we do the mitzvahs. But we are part of Am Israel. And you know when you feel it. If you kids, and that's something that you should do. You should try it. When your kids hear about another Jew that he doesn't know somewhere else, who passed away, or has a challenge, does he feel pain? Does he feel connected to it? That's a question you should ask. When he feel about something good happened to another Jew, does he feel the same way that you feel good about when it's somebody not Jewish? Of course, we love everybody, and we should be happy for everyone's joy and happiness. But the feeling of one big nation, one big family, this is what you need to install in your children. We are part of Am Yisrael. When another Jew somewhere else in the world has a challenge, I feel it. When the news from Israel, I don't care about the news of Israel only because I have family there. And if I don't have, okay, this is my family. Many people ask about anti-Semitism. And now, the easiest way to explain the Jewish feelings to another, because we are one big family. We are a small family to compare to the nations. We are a big family in a sense, but smaller. And we care about each other because we are one family. This is what we need to tell our children. My little kids, my little boy, my little girl, we are part of the Jewish people. We not just follow what Hashem said because that's what we have to do, which is true. But then you have 50-50%, 50-50. Maybe they're going to follow like Yitzchak. Maybe they're going to follow like Yaakov. Maybe, God forbid, they're going to be like Ishmael and Esau. Maybe they're going to leave it. But I could tell you clearly like this. Any kid who feels that he is part of the Jewish nation, and he is proud of it, and he is happy of it, and he feels it, he's not going to live. He's not going to marry out, and he's not going to disappear. He's going to keep it. And this is the simple explanation of this story. By Abraham, there was just regular people who followed the path of Hashem. By Yitzchak, there was regular people who followed the path of Hashem. Yaakov was able, because he was a grandson, already 3 generations, because he had a big family, and because some other reasons, was able to create the concept of Am Yisrael. And this is something that we could and we should teach our kids, and everybody in different ways. And this is why we should really try to bring our families more involved in Jewishness. Even if we keep in the house some mitzvah, some Torah, that's not enough. We have to make him feel part of Am Yisrael. And I'm sure if we're going to do it, with all the challenges that we have from right and from left and from disappearing and from this, God willing, will survive and will flourish. Am Yisrael Chaim, and will bring Mashiach now. Looking forward to seeing everybody next week. Thank you.